I'm not seeing that at all. And every time I talk to people like you, every time I talk to people like you,
and the supply not being enough are both the problem.
The issue is that all of the other you've been pushing against that. We agree. No, that's not true. Everyone in here agrees that less immigrants coming into the country would probably decrease how quickly housing is increasing. That's almost for sure true.
Yes,
but the issue
exactly.
That is the dumbest Band-Aid solution to. That's not a solution to a problem.
No, it's not a Band-Aid solution.
That
is stopping the demand while we work to do the rest. That is hopefully going.
Why in any economy in the world, unless you're in the Soviet Union, would your goal be for a supply problem to stop the demand? Why the would you ever want to do that in any economy?
If you try to limit demand, then sure, you'll get like a temporary shock in, you'll reduce prices temporarily. But the underlying problem is that you need to get rid of your zoning rules and build more housing.
Yeah,
because
I agree. Holy shit, I agree. But when
Lauren, I thought you're supposed to be dragging in more help.
Well, it's just that if you
this is turning into a birthday gangbang. Okay,
but you also
people on your side.
Whoa.
The other day, we all got in a bit of a conversation on Twitter about housing. I was saying that the problems in Vancouver real estate, certainly real estate.
Wait, before we get into this, can we get a temperature check? How's everybody's mood right now?
How's my mood?
Yeah, how are we all feeling? Are we all doing okay?
I feel all right. Why? You
Just
pissed?
No, I'm perfectly fine right now.
That's awesome.
Are you feeling okay, Lauren? Are you feeling pretty grumpy? Or
10 out of 10. I'm not even a little bit grumpy. I'm ready for this chat.
Okay. I've heard a rumor on Instagram the last few times Lauren's had arguments, they've been just very, very, very off the wall. So just making sure everybody's okay.
You got obliterated in that conversation over AOC. You're still coping, I hear. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, we got in a little bit of a discourse on twitter.com, and I mentioned that there's a problem. There's a bit of a problem in Canada with foreign ownership of property, and the fact that we've got, in certain areas like Richmond, over 20% foreign ownership of these homes. They're renting them out. Some are keeping them empty, and it's causing a massive, increase in prices for regular Canadian buyers. Certainly people in the average salary in Canada, it's about 55 to 60K is the average salary. So you're only getting a mortgage of 300 to 400K. The average house in Vancouver is now way past $1 million, if not more. No one's going to be able to buy them. And part of this is caused by immigration, and another large part is caused by foreign ownership. And this really isn't debated in Canada at all. This is pretty agreed upon by most parties, pretty agreed upon by most academics. But for some reason, you, Destiny, say this is not a problem at all. And the only problem is we need to increase the supply, which no one disagrees with, but isn't necessarily possible.
Yeah, it is. It's possible to increase the supply. What do you mean?
It's possible to try, but at the rates that we're competing with foreign buyers. And
let me set the stage real quick for this conversation, and then you guys can go at this, okay? Because this is just when you say this isn't something that's debated among politicians and the people in Canada, I totally believe that, Lauren. Housing policy is one of the largest invitations for brain rot that has ever existed when it comes to people's minds. Well, because of you, though. You're the brain rot.
Yeah.
Okay? When people look at properties, it is the perfect invitation to come up with the most complicatedly horrible ideas that seem good on paper and never work. Rent control is one of them. Exclusively building low-income housing is another one. Publicly owned housing is another one.
Yes.
There are banning FDI, foreign direct investment. It must be driving up prices. Well, who's paying the rent? They're not shipping in people to pay the rent to, right? There's all of these horrible things that are blamed. But the reason why is because it's easy. I can throw in a vacancy tax and bring 20 more units online in Vancouver, and I feel so good about it. I can say, well, if you're an immigrant, you got to pay, I think it's 15, 20, 25% more in Vancouver, and we can all feel good about that. But at the end of the day, your housing costs are still going to go up because it's a very simple math or physics problem. There's a fuck ton of people that want to live in a very small area, and no amount of any absurd politically feel-good fucking policy on Twitter or in your fucking legislature is going to change that fact. You have to build more housing. That's
okay. Do you think that mass immigration in Canada might be exacerbating that?
Everything will exacerbate. Okay. Immigration will be one of those things. Okay, sorry. Go.
Yeah, I just want to chip in with that though, right? So immigration plays a role, but it's housing demand. Housing demand is going up a lot, right?
Yeah, but demand is going to go up necessarily with immigration.
Immigration contributes. So I just said immigration contributes to that. You're right. Okay. But the solution to that to me isn't to lower immigration. You shouldn't lower immigration for people. You shouldn't you shouldn't be lowering the demand for housing. What you should be doing is you should be increasing the supply of housing, because otherwise you're just kind of like we fucked up, right? Like that's something that like city councils and like local governments are
until
doing
you've
wrong.
met,
they're not reforming their zoning laws.
Shouldn't you like stop increasing the demand before you've met it?
If you're like artificially increasing the demand, I'd say that's irresponsible to do.
Right.
If you are not bringing in those policies to build more housing, which I don't think Trudeau is. I think like the liberals like kind of suck on housing.
Holy shit. It's just like America. I've never actually looked at a map of Vancouver before. It actually is just as fucking I have never seen it's San Francisco. It is. All the single family housing.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yep. Right. That's what it is. So, it's across.
Do you even have apartments in Vancouver? Do they exist? Holy fuck.
They do. They're like this big and they cost like $3,000 a month. They fucking suck.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's
and a lot of and I can like here's something that Vancouver does too. They don't reform their zoning laws. They have a fuck ton of rent control, like layers of rent control. I'm pretty sure your boy there, John. I mean, not your boy. I don't know if you like him or not. You probably don't. But that John Horgan guy, the premier of BC, he has like brought in all of this fucking rent control, like more rent controls and shit. And he's doing what Destiny said earlier, which I totally agree with him on, which is like just focusing on like publicly owned housing or like co-op housing and shit, but not doing like any zoning reform when he has all the power to do so. And
but this is the issue, and this is the paradox of housing, is it cannot be fixed because your strongest voters that you have in an area are always incentivized against it. All of your NIMBYs will always vote against housing zoning reforms, and you will never get new high density housing in any of these areas. That's why, and whoever you are, you're listening to me right now in any major city, I guarantee you that you are less than a 3-minute walk from some rundown fucking shit block of houses where every single house is worth over $750K because you need to put apartment buildings there. It's across the street from me here. The same thing in Glendale, Culver City, LA, every major city I've ever lived in or been to in my entire life is fuck tons of disgusting, horrible fucking houses. I can't walk to any stores. There's no commercial anything at the base of my apartment building. That like in LA, all of the apartment buildings are 5 stories tall. I don't fucking know why. And then it's just rows and rows and rows of horrible single family housing. No buses, no public transport, no fucking walkable stores. Your kids are getting murdered by gangsters because of this.
So true.
Everything is horrible.
So true.
But okay, sorry.
Okay, but do you acknowledge at least before we bring actual Justice Warrior is going to join this discussion? Before we bring him in, because this is what this all sparked. Do you acknowledge that at least part of the exacerbating issues is foreign ownership?
I think it is a small effect.
Okay. Can I read you?
The reason why?
Can I read you just a brief piece from an article?
No.
I'm going to do it anyway.
No. I'm serious. The issue is that like I can find articles from every single like big publication. I might even be able to find Wall Street Journal articles that's like, oh well, foreign direct investment is blah 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 blah. But like when it comes to this thing, here's the issue. Okay, FDI will not buoy the price of real estate up past what people can afford to rent it for. If foreign buyers weren't buying property, domestic buyers would buy it. It's not like they're artificially driving up rent. You have a real demand for housing there that people will pay for to live in an area.
When we're talking about 20% plus foreign ownership in areas, this is not just, regular buyers would buy it anyways.
Who cares who's buying it,
and this isn't just an article, this is a study. So this is based on data from Stats Canada, collected only recently in the last 2 years. SFU public policy specialist Joshua Gordon, this is a paper he wrote that's been peer-reviewed, and he talks about, in the debate over the cause of high housing prices in Canada, Gordon says the conventional explanation promoted by developers is that not enough housing supply is being built. I wonder who I'm hearing that argument for. But as Gordon emphasizes, in Canada, there has not been a single peer-reviewed article exploring the supply theory. In contrast, Gordon's paper makes clear the relationship between foreign ownership and decoupling is very strong and stark. The areas of Metro Vancouver with the highest rates of foreign ownership are the areas with the greatest decoupling of prices from homeowner incomes. Analysts generally consider housing affordable if the ratio of property prices to household income is about 4 or 5 to 1. But this ratio jumps to a startling 13 to 1 in Burnaby, 16 to 1 in Richmond, 22 to 1 in the city of Vancouver, and 23 to 1 in West Vancouver. which are the municipalities with the highest proportion of non-resident owners. The lack of connection between soaring housing prices and tepid local wages in Metro Vancouver is caused in large part by hidden foreign ownership, says the peer-reviewed study from Simon Fraser that is being welcomed by the BC ministers responsible for housing. Gordon's research set out to solve a puzzle in Greater Vancouver and to a lesser extent Toronto. How can tens of thousands of owners who tell Revenue Canada that they are low income, earning less than $44K a year, consistently afford homes valued in the $2 to $10 million price range? The new data revealed that Richmond, West Vancouver, and the city of Vancouver and Burnaby were epicenters of the foreign ownership phenomenon. They have the highest housing prices, low average declared incomes, and the largest proportions of non-resident owners. This is a powerful corroboration of the idea that the substantial amounts of income are not being declared in satellite family situations.
So the issue here doesn't sound like foreign owners. It sounds like you're talking about people buying property and then moving in and not reporting income, or
well, it's
that's what it
you have
sounds
these
like, yeah.
massively wealthy people coming from China that are not paying taxes in
And
Canada,
the United
buying
States as well.
mass
And the
amounts of
United States,
housing in this area, and then
moving there. Wait, so do you want to just ban immigration then, or what?
no, it's foreign ownership. Some of these people aren't even moving in. There are some portion that are moving in with massive amounts of wealth that they aren't declaring. And then there's also massive amounts of people that are living overseas that own these houses. Some are being kept empty. I know you say it's not that much, but it's significant. And a lot.
So hold on, just
the vacancy rate overall in Vancouver is like 2%.
Yeah,
and I mean earlier you said like Richmond was at like 1%. Like this is not high vacancy rates.
Yeah, and these vacancy rates might even be too low for what a market should bear. You need some level of vacancy.
The point is, home buyers in Canada cannot compete with these people. They cannot compete with foreign buyers.
But like
there's not enough housing.
They cannot compete with the massively wealthy immigrants coming on. He talks about the visas that they're coming in on these work visas, and coming in with massive amounts of wealth that they're not reporting and competing with them in the market for these houses. Like the regular Canadian, average Canadian cannot compete anymore.
Like everything you're saying is kind of true.
Yes, okay? I know.
But here's the issue.
But what's the solution?
Let's say that I have.
Well, you need to slow down the immigration until you at least have the supply available. No. We need to create more supply. No one disagrees with that, but until it's available, you need to stop.
Nobody's talking about that. It's a bunch of people screeching about immigration and screeching about FDI. That's what people are crying about the hardest.
Lauren, like that's what pissed me off about your tweets, Lauren. Is like you weren't talking about zoning reform. You weren't talking about deregulating zoning reform or anything.
I agree,
like that.
But you need to stop.
I know you agree with it.
You need to stop the stuff that is increasing the demand before you like. Of course, you need to do that. We need to increase the supply, but we also need to increase the problem that is coming in, causing the demand.
If you got rid of all immigration and all FDI, you zeroed it out right now, your housing costs would still increase. That's the issue.
It would be massively reduced, though, the rate at which
the increase might be reduced, but it's not going to make shit more affordable for people there now. But that's not a solution.
But you need to stop the problem that is flowing in. You need to stop the increase in demand and then meet it, and then maybe you can consider more immigration once you actually have served the people that live in your country already.
The problem is when you start halting that immigration, now you are destroying other parts of your economy because you're too fucking stupid to build more houses. Why would you take all of the negative knock-on effects from getting rid of high-skilled labor, foreign investment, and all these people that you probably do want moving your country? These aren't the horrible Mexican people that you investigate in the United States. Okay, these are really rich fucking Chinese people that are coming to your country with a fuck ton of money. Why would you say, sorry, we don't want you, we don't want your investment, we don't want any of that? Because we're too fucking stupid to build houses. If you want to talk about
we're not talking about all high-skilled immigration. It's not all high-skilled immigration. We're talking about a lot of people.
Do you think low-skilled immigrants are moving to fucking Vancouver and buying up houses, Lauren?
They are increasing. We do not. Most immigrants that come to Canada are going to the cities. They're going to Vancouver, Toronto. Maybe we need to do stuff like what Australia is doing, where when immigrants come in, they try to send them to places.
How many Puerto Ricans are competing with wealthy people from Beijing, buying up property in the wealthiest neighborhoods of Vancouver?
Everyone in Vancouver is competing with each other. You've got a bunch of millennials living in one house together. You've got
not everybody wants to live in every single area, Lauren. That is not true.
Everyone wants. Okay, please, Layman, don't please back me up on this. A lot of our immigrants are moving to fucking Toronto and Vancouver.
Toronto is a big fucking city, Lauren. Have you ever fucking been there before? It's a big city. New York City is a big place. Manhattan does not have the same type of demand for property as Brooklyn or the fucking Bronx, right? These are different areas that have different needs for different people. Sorry.
But when you don't have enough, when you don't have enough housing in these areas, adding more people to exacerbate the problem when you haven't changed the zoning laws yet, It's a fucking problem. Of course you need to stop that. And
is.
then
It is a problem.
you need to fix the zoning
we agree,
laws as well.
We agree that it's a problem. We agree that it's a problem. But the solution is that, this is what I was trying to say earlier. When I'm reading your tweets, I'm not seeing we need to reform zoning. We need to free up zoning. I'm not seeing anything like that. I'm seeing, look at all the foreign owners and look at all the people coming in. Look at how much demand is being increased. That's what I'm seeing, right? That's what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing you focus on the fundamental issue of supply. I'm not seeing that at all. And every time I talk to people like you, every time I talk to people like you,
and the supply not being enough are both the problem.
Every time I talk to people like you, every time I talk to people like you who have this position, nobody fucking talks about the supply until you really press them, and then they'll say, "Oh yeah, I do care about the supply." You think I'm against building more housing? I do care about the supply. That's what happens. But I have to press for it. No one gives a fuck.
This is the issue.
It's annoying.
If you talk about building more housing, there are 50 million positive knock-on effects from doing this. If you talk about we need to dramatically curtail immigration, you're talking about a 50 million negative knock-on effects from that to deal with the fact that you can't build more housing? Why would you fuck so many other parts of your economy up?
We are accepting a lot of freaking immigrants in Canada, a lot. And when we've got when we're building only around 200 to 300,000 houses a year and we're accepting 500,000 immigrants, maybe we need to consider, okay, let's be responsible and slow down the immigration acceptance, not get rid of it entirely, of course. Slow it down until we have fixed these zoning laws, until we have fixed these housing problems, because literal people that are living here now cannot afford.
Lauren, the problem is that the types of people like you that will say we need to cut back immigration to fix the housing policies are the same types of people that go to their city council meetings and go, I don't want a high density building right next to my beautiful neighborhood. I want to preserve the character of what we have. That's the issue. And this is why I don't know what Layman, if you've argued with these people, but it's the same types of arguments coming from both people. And like Layman said, you can push people and you can say, maybe
you're arguing with a hypothetical me that you've made up to win the debate. No, that's not what I'm saying. Argue with me.
It is the prototypical NIMBY argument. I don't want
when did I wait? When did I make a single?
Are you getting mad that I'm stereotyping your position?
Wait, no.
I know that's not you. Are you about to attack me again for supporting BLM riots?
Steven, when did I say that at all? When did I say that I don't want more housing? When did I say I don't want reform? When did I say any of that?
Well, you didn't say that you wanted it, so the absence of a negative is the evidence of an absence. So
I think we need more housing. That's all I've said.
Hold on. Okay. Right now, everybody in chat,
you are making up a person to do it.
Has Lauren ever in her entire life on her Twitter made an account saying I want more housing? And then go ahead. I'm just curious.
Yes, I actually did in our discussion on Twitter.
Okay,
I did say that.
Okay, Steven, but you don't even have to do that, right? Because in the actual thread, this is what I was talking about earlier. In the actual thread, you never initiated any of those tweets by talking about increasing the housing supply. I'm pretty sure you said something like we need to be protesting in the streets because all these immigrants are filling up housing demand or something. I'm paraphrasing, of course.
And that's not
you can find the tweet. But and then you're sharing all this shit about foreign ownership. You didn't talk about building more housing until it was pressed to build more housing. And that happens with everybody with the position that Steven was describing earlier.
That's what always happens. We are building more housing right now, and it's not enough, and we need to do more.
Because you're not building
because we haven't fixed any of the zoning laws.
The demand keeps going.
We haven't done anything about it.
Well, we need to guess what? We need to protest fucking foreign ownership and zoning laws. Are you happy?
No,
we need to do both.
Foreign ownership is good. You want that capital flowing in your country.
I don't want to live in a city of eternal renters that are all paying money to people living in China.
You don't want them.
Insane.
She doesn't want renters. She only wants condos and houses, single family houses. Boom, there it is. That's all I want.
What are you talking about? People from China are buying fucking mansions on the coast here. It's not just condos that they're buying. They're buying out everything.
Isn't the majority of stuff being brought online in Vancouver condominiums?
I want the people I live around. I want the people in my country. I want the people in my town to have wealth. I want them to own homes. I want them to have stability. I don't want everyone to be an eternal renter to people not even living in their country with no investment in the state of their town or cities.
Okay, owning a home is a shitty way to build wealth, number one. Okay, it's just the only thing that people do to build wealth because they don't have any other fucking financial savvy doing that. Okay, number two,
so it's not as shitty. It's a way. It's a much better way than owning nothing. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, the same
And
way
it's-
that having a
it's probably-
caretaker
it's
can help a
probably gonna be
retarded
the
kid walk
only way-
across the street safely. That is right, Lauren.
It's probably
It is a good
the
way for
only
really
thing a
dumb people
lot
to
of
build
people
wealth.
are going to be
Okay?
able to build wealth with.
No,
Genuinely.
there's plenty of other things that you
A
can
lot
build
of
wealth
normal
with.
people. A lot of normal
sure in
people. A
Canada,
home
you
is the
guys
thing
have-
they're like, I hope I own a home one day. And that's what they're looking
Yeah,
for.
because they're dumb as fuck, and that type of mentality is
Well,
what
that's
has
the
led
average
to the
person. That's the average person, okay?
which is
Not
what we
everyone
need-
can be
in Europe.
fucking wealthy.
Yeah, but in Europe, people don't obsess about having to have a house. I need to have a house, or I'm fucking worthless. I don't want to be a rentoid.
Yeah,
That's an American idea.
They don't want to be
that you
renting
guys
for the
inherited
rest of
from
their
us.
lives. They want to have some stability. I don't think
Yeah.
that's like a ridiculous.
What's
you
wrong-
own a
what-
home. I guess you're fucking like just give it up. Just rent for the rest of your life. What the fuck?
First of
man?
all, I am renting. Thank you, and I'm happily renting, and I'm richer than 99% of dipshits have bought houses.
No, you own a
Number
home
one.
too. You own
Okay?
a home too. Shut the
For
fuck up.
different
You're lying.
reasons,
Yeah, okay.
For different reasons, but I don't live in my own home. Okay, I'm cucked in my own home, so that's a different.
You'll
I'm
own
even more
nothing and be
progressive.
happy.
I'm even more No, I own the shit that I have. I have money in my bank account. I would rather own stocks. I'd rather have money in the bank than have all of my 100% of my net worth tied into some fucking piece of property that I can never pull equity out of.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
so the
I'd
idea that
rather have it in
building-
cash right now with this inflation rate. Yeah, okay.
Oh boy! Hey guys, make sure that you sell all your stocks because the market's pretty bad right now. Put it in NFTs, bitcoins, and gold
No,
and
put
silver.
it in.
Because you know
Put
those
it in
are gonna hold
property.
up over time.
Put it in property.
What do you think? What
Property
happened in
is better
2007
than
put
having
it-
money
you,
right now.
You don't think property could ever deflate? You don't think it could
Of
ever?
course it could.
And look,
but
and
money's
look at what you're saying
deflating right now. It's better to have an asset than to have it in inflation.
Oh my God, you are suicide-inducing, Lauren. Look at what you're saying. Look, everything you're saying is leading us to the next step. It's like the domino scene in V for Vendetta.
the
You've got all
fuck
these
is
people putting money in
ActualJusticeWarrior? I'm
housing,
stuck
and
here
guess
with a
what's going to
bunch
happen
of
when the government's
cucks.
like, hey, we need to build more high-density apartments so that we can deal with all those housing people that are like, well, hold on. People like Lauren Southern told me to put 100% of my fucking assets into my
told them
fucking
to put
house.
every
I can't
single
vote
bit
for
of their
high-density
assets,
housing.
everything
It's
they
going to hurt
own.
my property.
All of it.
Time to go to my fucking city council meeting and
Literally,
cry for 2 fucking
sell
hours. if they're
everything
thinking
you
about
own.
putting
Sell
anything.
your children and get property. Like, no, that's not what I'm
That's the
saying.
only middle ground.
Property,
That's
it's
exactly what I'm
smart to own a home right now, especially because fucking rental rates are the same as a mortgage right now. It's
Yeah, but
absolutely
rental rate. But if you
insane.
rent, you don't have to deal with any of the costs of home ownership.
Wait, it's the fucking same right now.
What'd you
What
say?
is-
You
what?
cut out. You cut out. What'd you say?
Rental rates are the same as a mortgage right now.
You are literally just
throwing,
part of owning a house.
Yo, shut up. You are throwing your fucking
right.
money away by renting right now.
She's not right. Look
Yes,
at
I am.
amortization. How much money do you think you throw away in a mortgage, Lauren?
The
You know what
same
interest
amount you're
fucking
throwing
loan?
away by renting in Vancouver or anywhere
You're not-
around it, even 3 hours outside of it right now.
You're not throwing away money. You're paying money for a place to live and work. You get something for your money.
Or you can
and you
pay
don't have
money
to pay
to
for
something you own and you're actually keeping that money in the value of your home.
Sure, but when you're paying a mortgage though, you don't like just own the home right away, right?
And the first
You're
But at
paying
least
for
you're,
like
20,
30
built,
years,
at least
and
that
then
wealth is something
Here's my
you
guess.
are adding up into some ownership. It's
No,
not just
but
going
yeah,
into
in
oblivion
like 30
to some
fucking
renter's
years.
pocket.
Okay.
I'm not
Or some
gonna be able to
landlord's
pay off
pocket.
the mortgage on my place.
Dude,
till
you're not
I'm
even
like-
gonna live long enough to have your house. Okay.
I'm gonna be retired when my mortgage is paid off. Like, I wish that wasn't the case, right? But if
but
we
it's
were
better
able to
than having
actually like
nothing.
reform zoning and build, well, look, if you build enough housing, maybe things will be affordable enough where people don't have to
Love that.
fucking
I agree.
be on a mortgage for
I
like
agree.
30 fucking years.
I
right?
agree. But it's better to have a
And
mortgage
for the
than
first
just
tweet
renting
about
right
it.
now.
After 10 years of paying a mortgage, I think you've probably got 10% equity in your home, maybe, assuming the price hasn't moved.
Something like that, yeah.
It's so front loaded on interest plus escrow. You think that paying rent, paying rent is bad? Look at like fucking insurance you have to pay. Look at all the if you have PMI, you've got like a whole bunch. Look at any major repairs you've got to do. If you need a fucking new roof,
Yep.
that's 15, 20, 30,000, or in Canada dollars, 50, 60, 70,000. Like Jesus fuck, Lauren. Like there's so many
let's
costs
say-
to go into homeownership.
If there's someone that's renting right now, it's like $3,000 to rent a decent like sized
Yeah.
apartment or
Yep.
or anything in Vancouver. Someone's paying $4,000 for a mortgage. Probably who's better off doing that for 20 years? The person who got the mortgage.
If you're going to
or
stay
the person
in
that
one
got the
place
home,
for
or
20
that's
years,
renting.
if you're going to pay, first of all, you're saying that the mortgage payer is paying $1,000 more over 20
the
years. If you
renter
put
is
that
paying off the fucking mortgage.
there are other things you can do with your money than just dump it into a house. So you would have to calculate the total cost of the upkeep of the property. I'll give you this. After 30 years, if you're in a competitive market, the mortgage is probably going to be better than
Yes.
otherwise. Maybe. But that's after 30 fucking years, okay? And how many people live in one house when they buy their first house? They're going to stay there for the rest of their fucking life.
But if you're, fuck's sake, you know what? You're right. You're right. You should just rent.
Thank
for
you.
eternity.
I am.
I want
See?
to. We won.
Don't vote. Don't buy houses. That's my new
Don't
prescription
buy
for all
homes,
women
yeah.
everywhere.
Just rent,
yeah,
rent.
true.
Pay the same in rent that you would pay in a mortgage, guys. Just
No, hold on. I am giving you a lot
landlord.
of shit, okay? Because to be honest, like buying stocks is for cucks. Why would you rather have like diversified investments across
Thank
entire
God.
markets that you can sell immediately to pull out cash if you need to, that can be tax advantage you can like slowly get money out of over time, when you can have all of your money dumped into one asset that might depreciate.
Get stocks. Don't get a home. Don't buy. Don't own things. Get stocks. Put your money in stocks. Keep your money in cash, everybody. I'm sure that's gonna go.
You can get one of those home equity lines of credit. You can take money out of it.
Where did you go?
Oh my God.
Where did you go? Where did you go, Actual Justice Warrior? You just bailed on me?
Should we be debating her when she's drunk? Is that ethical?
She basically, I think she's perpetually drunk. So she's probably not even drunk right now. When people drink that much, I don't think they actually feel it. Or they feel it all the time, so it's hard to say.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Sajay says, property can be worth 0, but you'll still have a place to live, grow food, raise a family, and don't owe anyone anything. So true, Sajay.
Don't owe anyone anything. So true. Lauren, how much do you think you're paying in property tax every fucking year in Toronto?
Property tax is really going to be the killer on you compared to someone paying rent eternally. That's right.
I hate you. I actually do.
Where the fuck did AJW go?
I don't even have much to add, really. It's just so chaotic.
Housing policy is where all good conversation goes to die, and everybody with their own little pet project. On the far right, it'll be fucking people talking about immigrants because that's what they like to obsess over. On the far left, is people talking about affordable housing and fucking rent control because that's the things that they love to obsess over, and publicly owned housing. But like when it comes to actually tearing down the dilapidated disgust that is the single family housing plight that is plaguing every major fucking city across like America and Canada, nobody wants to budge on it.
See, but like, I don't care if people live in single family homes. Personally, like, live in a single family home if you want. I just don't want like municipal governments like cowtailing to just like a personal lifestyle choice.
And move them away. Go live like 3 hours out of Vancouver. If you want to live in your own perfect little society where you have suburbs, go do that. But get the fuck away from any city because you're ruining everything for everybody. Everybody hates themselves more because of the people that have the houses there. All of you should feel the hatred every day seeping into your body.
I think this is an interesting point. So a lot of people who they're born in like Vancouver, born in Toronto. Their family is there. Their grandparents are there. And then a ton of fucking immigrants come in, boost the housing prices. I'd like to think at least we agree that a ton of immigrants coming into an area is going to increase the housing prices. Do we agree on that?
Same thing with migrants, too. Sure. But same thing with migrants, too.
Okay, for the guys listening at home, listen to how Lauren is about to perfectly justify Indigenous peoples in Canada getting really mad about the people. Okay, keep going. What were you saying, Lauren?
Do we agree that a bunch of immigrants coming into an area is probably going to increase the demand for housing? Do we agree on that?
Yeah, we already agreed on that.
Okay, so we agree.
Agreed. Yeah.
If you are, a lot of people just suggest, okay, you can't afford the housing prices anymore. Move out of the city. Just fucking move, right? Who is going to have more mobility? Someone with no ties to the area, someone who doesn't have grandparents to potentially care for, tons of family living in the area, or a random migrant that has no ties anywhere coming into the country? Who is going to have more mobility?
Wow, Lauren, that's such a hard, the way you set that one up is so hard. Probably the person with no ties, I would imagine.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So is it a bit of a problem that we've got no real policy other than let's accept a ton of immigrants, and who cares if they go to the mass cities and increase the prices there for the people who don't really have a whole lot of mobility? Is that a problem, do you think?
I don't know, Lauren. Do you think that, on the other hand, do you think that people should be allowed to live in the same place for their generations before them for the rest of their entire fucking lineage? Is that a thing that we should be protecting? Your children and your children's children and your children's children should all be able to live in the same fucking place for the rest of eternity? Seems like a shitty way to construct cities.
I'm saying there are simply people that, I'm not saying that. I'm saying there are people that live in these areas already that have ties. It's more difficult for them to have mobility and move, whereas it's easier for a lot of the immigrants that come in to disperse and go to different areas. But wait, let me finish this. There are countries that have good policies around this. I know Australia has policies where a lot of the skilled immigration they bring in, they're like, okay, you have to move to a smaller town that has less population. You can't just move straight to the city if we want to accept you here. You can't just go straight to Toronto or Vancouver or whatever, or Sydney or Melbourne. You have to go and work in a small town. I know they do this for
this sounds like the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire. Why would you bring an immigrant to your country to purposely make them less productive? This is the dumbest idea.
No, it's actually not making them less productive. They look at, hey, we've got a need for doctors in this sector in this area, and it's not a major city where we've already got a fuck ton of people living.
I promise you that there is no city in the entire developed world that has too many doctors, except for maybe fucking Havana in Cuba.
Especially I just want to say, especially in Canada, we're dealing with a big doctor shortage right now. Like everywhere could use more doctors, especially urban areas. So, but rural areas too. Like you're right there. I just think that like where you would have to disperse those immigrants is going to be relative to like the demand in that given area. I don't think you can just like blanketly say, oh, well, the small towns always like need more immigrants. Or sorry, always need the doctors like more than urban areas. Well, it sounds like that's what that policy
when
kind
all
of
of our migrants are moving to areas where we do not have enough housing supply, you're going to have problems, especially when a lot of the people there don't have the same.
We already agree on that.
All agree on that. Why are we all talking about things we agree with?
The solution is what we
disagree on. Okay, I think that you need to curtail the mass amount of immigration,
single-family housing blocks, destroy them with nuclear bombs, and then rebuild them with ultra-modern, Swedish-style communist housing blocks, 50 stories tall.
And you're all going to be, in fact, I think we should have only Chinese investors owning those housing blocks, and everyone in Canada should be renting forever, living in a tiny little one-bedroom apartment.
You know that when you
I don't think that's what either
line,
said, but okay.
When you bring out this line, I accurately stated her position, actually. When you bring out this line of like, we should rent things forever, you're revealing your inner Nimbyism. Like we can all see it, right?
That's my Nimbyism, that we should all be, me being against being eternal renters in our own country is me being a NIMBY. Okay,
right.
Fine.
Destiny, let's just, there's ways to see this, right? So I do a lot of like IRL political stuff around housing. And I have like a way of knowing, right? Because if you talk to like any like not in my backyard type of person, they will always say that they support like building more housing. They might even say that they support you like reforming like zoning laws and stuff, right? But then once it gets into like their backyard, that's when it's like, oh shit, I don't want to do that, right? True. So usually the way I gauge a NIMBY isn't based off of that. Usually the way I gauge a NIMBY is based off of like the solutions that they kind of prioritize. So
of course,
what I guess I would ask you, Lauren, is like, what are the priorities to like yeet single family zoning? Or are the priorities to reduce demand through like immigration? Like, what would the priority policy be for you?
I mean, you can't like the zoning laws are going to take a long time, and creating more housing is going to take
comprehensive immigration reform is going to be like that in Canada.
Because I'm pretty sure Canada is like the most immigrant-friendly country in the world. Mm-hmm. So like running off of reducing immigration is like a losing strategy. Not even our conservative party does anything like that, right? Like this is the only party that's done this is like the PPC dumbfuck party that you voted for, who won no seats anywhere in the entire country. And I'm pretty sure Maxime Bernier in the last election lost his own seat. So like, it's a losing strategy there too if you're just focusing on the pure pragmatics.
A lot of the people who voted for PPC were just conservatives voting against the Conservative Party as a message. No one was under the impression that the PPC were going to win. You're aware of that, right?
I don't know if there's any way to gauge public opinion on that. I don't think there's any polling data on that. I think a lot of people are just mad and they felt at home with that party more so than the Conservatives.
Yeah, so they voted as it wasn't even a vote against Trudeau. It was a vote against the Conservative Party. People saying the Conservatives don't actually represent Conservatives. No one was under the impression that the PPC were going to win.
My only point was that they didn't win any seats, and they were the only party that ran off of reducing immigration. That was my only point.
They're a new party. They're a new party. It's like saying, oh my gosh, the Libertarian party won no seats. No shit. Like, it's not one of the two or three, I guess, in Canada we've got.
He's not trying to brag on the party. He's just saying that position of like comprehensive immigration reform doesn't seem to exist.
It doesn't win elections. It doesn't win any seats anywhere. It doesn't win any seats in the House. Nobody can have any say on it, right?
And neither does building more housing, apparently, because fuck, we're not.
True, which is why we need Antifa to get up there.
True. So shut the fuck up. So if we have two policies that are very, very unpopular right now, I think what we should be doing is setting this pragmatic bullshit thing aside and just saying, hey, which policy is better on its own merits? Is building more housing better, or is reducing immigrants better? What should we be putting that political capital into advocating for, right?
If you could snap your fingers, Lauren, which one?
I'm not going to pick one because it's both. It's obviously both, and you can do more about this. And it's not even just immigration. It's foreign ownership as well. And there are it's actually a.
Why can't you just be honest about
no,
being
it's actually a bipartisan issue.
Be honest about it.
The NDP are for reducing foreign ownership and putting taxes on it. Conservatives are for it.
Yes, the NDP in your own province put a foreign buyer's tax, and it didn't do anything to reduce housing prices. It did nothing. It had no effect. So like,
we need to do fucking more. Clearly.
let's just do the same thing again and hope it works this time. Like, no,
I'm not saying
let's
the
focus
same
on
thing.
something else.
There are
Don't you?
other
You have
approaches.
provinces that are empty, right? Manitoba and Saskatchewania or whatever. Go move there. All the single family people can go build a ton of houses there.
Yeah,
That's
all
like
the
your
people who
Montana.
have family stuck in one
Like their
province.
family.
Yeah, let's
The
just
Canadian
let's
government
just
can
pick
pay
up and move to Saskatchewan. Maybe we
one
send all the
time-
immigrants to Saskatchewan instead. You can come here, but you got to go somewhere where it's not fucking insane demand for housing, where our locals can't even get homes, where locals can't afford anymore to get a mortgage.
Oh no.
Yeah, but we support helping those locals do that, right? Like nobody's
No,
against
because she
that.
doesn't want condos and apartments built. She wants nice, beautiful,
Build more
white picket
condos
benches.
in Vancouver. Absolutely, build more condos. We've got houses that are burnt down in Vancouver selling for $3 million. Fucking wipe that out and build a condo there. Absolutely.
That is a Vancouver moment. If they're
Yeah, it is.
no, but yeah, I just think this focus on like, I know that you said that you support both, but like,
Yeah, it doesn't have
Can
to
you
be
just,
one or
like,
the
can
other.
you-
You can
but-
have multiple policy
say
solutions.
that.
It was hypothetically one or the other.
No.
Yeah, yeah,
but you
it's Twitch hypothetical to get an own. Like, fuck, no.
Shut up.
None who would know yours on Twitch.
Shut up. No, but you said this after we debated you a fuck ton on this already. We had to like scream our lungs out to get you to say like we want to build more housing, right? We had to like scream, and fucking Destiny had to do his Eminem rap god shit, and I also did some
I was
Eminem
screaming.
rap god shit to get you to say this, right? So like,
that.
it's great
No,
that you say that you support
didn't
that,
have to.
but you're not going to be
talking.
but like I can guarantee you that after this stream is done, you're going to go on Twitter, and every time you talk about housing, you're not going to talk about building more. You're not going to talk about more upzoning. You're not going to talk about getting rid of single-family zoning, legalizing building on like single-family zone land or anything like that for like multifamily units. You're not going to be talking about this on Twitter. I can guarantee you. And if you do, I would love to be wrong on that, because
Right.
I just have a hunch that you're going to go on and you're going to keep talking about the foreign owners and you're going to keep talking about the immigrants, and I fucking hate that. It drives me fucking insane.
No,
because
here's
it's
the problem.
everybody with your position.
Layman,
It's everybody.
here's the problem. You're acting like you had to like force this position. We were fighting. No, the second it was brought up, I literally just said, I agree. Most people, if you ask them, should we build more housing, except for these NIMBYs you're talking about that I don't really see having this discourse online much because they're probably
you.
yeah.
You are the
No,
NIMBY.
I'm not a NIMBY, and I've never made a single NIMBY comment.
When you said we have to buy things, we're going to be rentoids forever. That's a NIMBY comment.
Okay, fine. I guess I'm a fucking NIMBY then if I don't want to be
Thank
a renter
you for being
forever.
honest about it. Now admit you used to be a
I don't-
Nazi.
I think most people watching this don't want to be renting for the rest of their life. So I guess we're all NIMBYs. But
No, that's not true.
the problem,
I love renting.
No, the problem is not me not saying that I don't want more housing, because I haven't said that once. I've been saying this whole stream, and everyone can watch it, build more housing. We need to fix all these things. The problem is that you guys are only saying build more housing, and you are unwilling to accept that there are other policy issues here too, including immigration and foreign ownership.
Because
I'm not convinced
you
that that
guys,
was a
this
problem.
whole conversation,
all of the other,
you've been pushing against that.
We agree. No, that's not true. Everyone in here agrees that less immigrants coming into the country would probably decrease how quickly housing is increasing. That's almost for sure true.
Yes,
but the issue,
exactly.
that is the dumbest
we already said that.
band-aid solution to, that's not a solution
No, it's
to
not
a
a
problem.
Band-Aid solution.
It
That is
literally-
stopping the demand while we work to do the rest. That is hopefully going
Why
to be the
in
solution.
any economy in the fucking world, unless you're in the fucking Soviet Union, would your goal be for a supply problem to stop the fucking demand? Why the fuck would you ever want to do that in any economy? Why? You would always try to increase the supply. Like, imagine you had a restaurant and so many people were coming in, you didn't have enough cooks to cook enough food. You didn't have enough servers. Like, would the people be like, okay, guys, well, here's what we're going to do. We're only going to let like 10 people into a restaurant a night? No, you'd hire more workers.
Okay, wait, ActualJusticeWarrior is trying to join and having issues.
I feel like he's going to say some base shit. So I'd like to hear it.
You brought up Houston zoning laws. I don't know if you've ever heard about the clusterfuck that is the zone, the free zoning Houston. So I don't know what we're about to get. Let's go.
Sean, you're
That's
already
awesome,
you're already
Houston
in the
zoning
group.
laws. They don't
Why are you
have any.
messaging
It's
me?
amazing.
Sean, you're in.
Can you guys hear
you're in
me?
the group
I
call.
can't hear
We can hear you.
Oh,
I can
here
hear
you are. Okay, great.
Oh, okay.
You sound great.
Yes, I fixed my microphone. It was a whole issue. It was a tale as old as time, but now I'm all fixed.
Okay, I'm losing it, man. You got.
So what are you guys even talking about? Something about how Houston's awesome?
If you want to
No.
fix problems anywhere in the Western world right now, we have a huge problem with the density of housing in our countries, in the United States and Canada. We have a huge problem with housing density.
supply. The
And
supply.
instead of ever doing anything, well, it's not just supply, because we can keep infinitely building suburbs, but that suburban sprawl is fucking cancer, right? We need higher density housing in our cities, but we can't do it because of zoning laws. And people try to make all these dog shit Band-Aid ways to get about it, curbing immigration, rent control, the the APUs, will you build like more like in your basement floor? You can have
Vacancy
like rent it out
tax.
to people. Yeah, vacancy taxes, FDI penalties, like all these. And the reality is the only way you're ever going to actually bring down housing prices, the only way you're actually is to increase your supply of housing. That's the only thing you can do.
Wait,
Wait,
why is Suburban sprawl cancer?
Wait,
Why
before
what?
we reply to that, I was
I want to let them debate.
Super Chatter says,
Yeah, why is Suburban small
Marusia,
cancer? It's awesome.
Destiny, economics aren't the only consideration. If these migrants are such a boon to the economy, why weren't they a boon to their home country's economy? Mass migration is exploitation.
What a great question. Because in economics, we've got this concept known as productivity. And productivity can be understood in one way as combining labor with highly productive capital. You can be the best computer fucking programmer you ever want to be in your entire life, but if you live in a small no-name fucking village in Sudan where they don't have any computers, you're not going to be a very productive person. So taking high-skilled immigrants and putting them in high capital areas that can efficiently utilize their labor is going to produce more economic value for that person and for that country than if they were in some other country they didn't have access to capital that made their labor as productive.
Okay, whatever you were going to say. Sorry, Sean, to interrupt.
I was saying, why is suburban sprawl bad? It's awesome.
It sucks.
all this
It
wonderful
destroys
stuff.
society. Nothing is walkable. You need a car to go any fucking place you want to ever. The traffic
are
is actual.
awesome.
Cars are AIDS. They're cancer. They're
Why do you
so
hate
bad.
cars? Are you like anti-American or something?
Yeah. Good. True. Based. and
Trains
car
are
films.
awful. Have you ever been on a
Fuck
subway?
You know what I like to do? I like
Nasty.
to leave my car idling sometimes in the garage just for like 5 minutes so that the exhaust gets nice and hot, and then I just fuck it because I love cars so much. I want to fuck my car.
Yeah, that's
Do
nice.
it.
Don't you drive an electric car anyway?
No,
There's
I
no
drive
exhaust.
a Ford Focus RS, a 4-cylinder, 350 horsepower, all-wheel drive monster, painted nitrous blue. I love my car, but I also hate
Respect.
cars. Okay, it's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, cars are awesome. Trains are lame, and suburban sprawl is good. And the people who don't like it really boil it down to aesthetics. And a lot of times, it's aesthetic from overhead. Stop being a plain elitist.
It's not about elitist. It's just the fact that living in cities increases your quality of life 50 million times over. There are so many positive benefits to high density areas. Being able to walk outside and go to any restaurant you want. Being able to walk down real quick to a corner store buying a thing of milk. Being able to travel to any part of the city anytime you want without having to worry about a DUI. You can go out and drink and come back on the public transit. You can go out and visit any friend you want. You don't have to pay a car payment every month. Not having to worry about Biden pushing the up button on the gas prices. There are so many things that increase your quality of life when you live in a walkable city that has tons of public transit.
Well, first of all, don't have a car payment. Pay that off right away and own your car. Duh, obviously, number
Hey.
one.
And I'm the
Number
one
two,
that's out of touch. Wow. Just buy your cars in cash, guys. I'm the elitist. Come on.
Yeah, buy a $5,000 car. What's wrong with you?
Not everybody has the money to just buy a $5,000 car. Also, that car's still going to require upkeep, and it's still going to leave you liable for other things. If you
Yeah,
pop
which
a
is why
fucking-
you
Yeah,
don't
once
spend a lot of money on it.
once I moved into the city, I sold my car just to avoid that shit. My car was like $3,000.
days.
I live in New York
It's
City
awesome.
and I drive everywhere.
I would never do such a thing if I lived in New York. but
Amazing.
What is it? To each their own, man. Listen,
Yeah.
fucking do what you want. I don't care.
You dodge
I think it's dumb, but-
pedestrians, you kill them.
Huh?
Now, so back to this whole foreign investment thing. I think the problem that you run into, Lauren, when you try to build a wall to keep Chinese people out, is that Mongolians are going to come along and tear that wall down.
I hate you, Sean. I bring you in here to help me out with these insane people, and we just start talking about Mongolians. But true, also true.
Well, look, if you try to limit demand, then sure you'll get like a temporary like shock in, you'll reduce prices temporarily, but the underlying problem is that you need to get rid of your zoning rules and
Yes.
build more housing.
Yes.
Because
Oh my
if
I
there was
agree.
so much
I agree. Holy shit, I agree. But when
Lauren,
you've
I thought
got
you're supposed to be dragging in more help.
well,
Hey,
it's just that
everyone
if you
This
like
is turning into a birthday gangbang. Okay,
But
you
you
get
also-
some people on your side.
Whoa.
but you also
She's a
have to
married
limit
woman.
people's
I'm not gonna do
ability
such
to
a thing.
vote on things like that
Metaphorically,
anyway.
man.
Because we live in a weird country where if you currently live in a place, then you can vote to rig the rules so that you have higher property values, which violates the rights of anybody else who wants to move in.
He's
So you
right.
definitely got to get rid of democracy completely. Like in
Wow.
California, they have all these places
No.
where
Straight up. I am totally fine
When
with
it comes
getting
to
rid of
housing?
I am totally fine with getting rid of municipal democracy. Fuck that. I don't
Maybe.
even think that's
Look at- when you have that,
legitimate.
look at fucking Prop 13 in California. How is this shit even fucking real on paper? This looks unbelievable, right? Like the idea that homeowners are infinitely incentivized to fuck over their housing situation for anybody else coming in is a little bit fucked. I think there's something that you need to do to deal with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. We're all
But you
friends
can all
now,
agree.
right?
What a reasonable wait. Do we all agree here that Lauren is absolutely a NIMBY?
Are you a NIMBY?
I think it's a gray area.
I've literally been saying this entire time, we need to build more housing, we need to get rid of zoning restrictions, and he just keeps calling me a NIMBY.
If you could snap your fingers and do one thing, either if you could reduce all immigration and reduce all foreign investment, or you could build enough houses for everybody, what would you do, Lauren?
Pick one.
Build the fucking wall. Build the wall. You're coming to me with the border. All of you. I got extra
NIMBY.
flare guns for all of y'all.
You did it.
It's good.
Wait. No, but okay. Let's operate within. Lauren agrees with zoning reform, more upzoning, more lax zoning regulations. Based epic.
More suburban sprawl.
I need the white women rose spray.
Okay. Now here's the fun hypothetical. Everybody who moves in around you and all the apartments that are now built around your nice little house with the white picket fence and all that shit. Everybody's Chinese. Everybody's Pakistani.
Uh-oh.
How do you feel?
Is this a hypothetical, or are you doxing me?
And they all know about your YouTube channel.
True.
No. Seriously, what answer? How would you respond?
No, I want to be around a bunch of people that speak the same language and have the same culture as me. Absolutely, like every other fucking person on this planet, unless they're lying.
Okay.
Today I learned Pakistanis and Indians and Chinese people can't speak English. Crazy world.
In Canada, absolutely not.
You can't even speak English properly.
We literally like the thing with Canada. It's like a joke. It's
I don't say drama,
you failed your English test to go to Australia. You go to Canada. That's what happens.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Okay, so you answered that question. Now the second question is, do you want the government to do something about that?
Do I want
the municipal government
to reduce
do something
mass
about
immigration? Yeah, I do.
No. I mean, to prevent them from like living around you in some way. Like,
she didn't know you were still talking about housing policy.
Oh, do I want? Oops. Do I want the government to prevent people that wait no explain. Do I want
would you want there to be some kind of municipal zoning regulation that would stop those people from moving in near you in some way? So like, let's say, hey,
I don't think you can pass municipal policy to be like, I don't want Pakistanis living near me.
No, that's
what if it was like the Chinese Exclusion Act?
No.
Or maybe they could just call it the Chinese Language Exclusion Act. Would that make it okay for you?
If it's based on language, absolutely. If you can't speak my language, I don't want you living near me.
Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's that hot of a take, actually.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. No. I was gonna say, immigrant. I think everyone should be able to agree. I mean, some like more like progressive people who are like too progressive for me don't really agree with this. But I think like people need to know English, like if they immigrate, like obviously, right?
There we go. We all agree.
Yeah.
We're actually all just aggressively agreeing with each other.
No, I don't think that's what's happened here.
No, I hate the focus on immigrants when it comes to housing. I do. It drives me insane.
Well, because housing is just a vehicle for their other bigoted policies.
Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, if you live in a country, you should still be able to determine who moves into your country. I mean, what is a nation without borders, right, Lauren? Shoot a flare gun.
All right, yeah. Finally, you step up to the plate to do something useful, Sean.
Well, I'm just saying, as far as housing policy, I mean, a lot of these people aren't even moving in. It's being bought by like foreign nationals, and part of that is because we have so many tax credits and incentives for homeowners that they can actually use this to dodge taxes in their country.
Actually, totally agree that we should
just put like a 25% tax, I think, in Vancouver for like foreign buyers, didn't they?
Yeah. That's what I was saying earlier. Like they tried to put a tax on foreign ownership and it didn't really do anything. But I agree with Sean that like there are a lot of like tax credits and like just straight up, I just call it what it is. Like it's welfare. Like it's welfare for homeowners. And like it just drives money more into like equity markets and it just makes shit balloon faster. Like it doesn't actually solve the supply issue.
But also owning a home is how like the middle class becomes millionaires. If you look at the steps to become one of those everyday millionaires, like buying and paying off your own home is like number one. So
yeah, but I think that's because people don't learn how to build wealth in an appropriate manner. I think people rely way too much on housing to do it because they're not taught financial responsibility otherwise. Because a house is like one of the worst assets that you can have a lot of wealth tied up in. It's one of the most illiquid things possible, and it's not really a wealth asset. It's a place you live, right?
But when has housing gone down besides 2008 in like the entire history of America?
Plenty of times.
And nationwide.
But you don't, that's the issue. You don't buy housing nationwide unless you're investing in REITs or something. You're buying that's like saying the markets have gone up all times. That's why I'm going to invest all of my money in PepsiCo, right? If you're buying a house, you're buying one
blue chip company.
It is a blue chip company. And so is real estate in Detroit, right? So there are places in the United States where real estate is no longer existent, where you and I can walk down the street and buy a house for $50, depending on what's going on in any local area. Especially, I don't want to trigger anybody here, but if the climate change stuff, if that does happen and some places become unlivable or sea levels rise or fall a little bit in different areas, like depending on where you've bought real estate, you might get fucked.
Your house is going to get flooded. It's going to be gone because of climate change. Don't buy property. I'm
glad that was the only thing you took from that. The only thing that you took. But in reality, never mind.
No. So if you buy a house,
keep everything in cash.
I take your Detroit example.
I'm so wealthy. I have a big house. Like, oh, cool. What are you going to buy with it? Oh, well, I'm not, but I have a big house and I'm so wealthy. And now my property taxes are higher because it's like a wealth tax on my fucking one asset that I own. And like, good one.
Well, you can.
I'm going to put my kids through school by selling my fucking bathroom. Like, good one.
How does everyone feel about property
You could actually
taxes?
tap your home equity for some money. But like, so Detroit is your example. So don't live in a city where the police are just going to allow rioting. That's going to ruin your city.
That's not the only reason why Detroit. It's because
that literally is the reason. The Detroit
it is not
riots
the only reason. When huge industries are moving away from your areas or moving into your areas, that's going to influence the price of housing.
The people moved. Why'd they move?
Because there was economic
this
opportunity.
Rioting is getting out of hand. We need to get out of here.
Yeah, but why do you think they were less incentivized to give a fuck about the rioting? They probably didn't care as much because the economic opportunity was disappearing. So they just leave because there's not as much. Like if rioting were to become a serious thing in like a massive tech town or whatever, or in areas of these, like people are paying way more fucking attention to it. There's a lot bigger of a fight over it. Nobody gives a fuck what happens in Detroit because there's not a lot of economic opportunity there compared to where it was like 8 years ago.
Detroit was the Paris of the Midwest when the rioting happening. What are you talking about?
What do you think happened first? Do you think people left Detroit and then manufacturing died, or do you think manufacturing was dying and then people left Detroit?
People rioted, then they moved out to the burbs to get away from the rioting. The rioting I'm talking about is in the 60s. Like the decline of Detroit is around the 70s when transportation.
I'm not American. So what is this? Just so I can look at
the Martin Luther
Detroit
King
was one of our
riots
major
the
manufacturing.
MLK riots. That's what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, it killed Detroit.
You
and then factories moved closer to be with
idea.
them first before they moved to the south.
I do not believe it is the case that Detroit died because of rioting. I'm pretty sure Detroit died because manufacturing left. I'm sure rioting had some negative impacts and then knock-on effects on the city.
What do you think white flight was all about? They left because of the rioting.
White flight happened for a lot of different reasons in a lot of different areas. It might have been because of black
Martin
people
Luther
moving on
King
their
riots
blocks.
were
It
all
might have been
over the
because of the
country.
fall of unions in certain areas. It might have been because the Civil Rights Act was like there was a whole bunch of different things that caused like white flight. It wasn't just rioting, right?
I mean, again, the Martin Luther King riots way more coincide with white flight than the Civil Rights Act passed in '64.
I mean, it might, but again, so your contention is that had manufacturing remained the same, you think Detroit would have died in the same way because of rioting?
Well, people moved out first because they moved to the burbs, and then factories moved to more in the burb areas because that's where a bunch of their workers were. Like suburban sprawl happened, and then businesses and all that moved from the city out to the sprawl.
Do you think that there are like $50 houses available in Detroit right now just because of rioting? That if
Maybe
the rioting would have
$2,000, but that's from like decades of policy.
Okay, I don't think any of this is true, but I don't know if we want to get into it.
I think there's $2,000 houses. I mean, all the copper wire's stolen out of it, but yeah.
What's next, birthday girl? What are we all chatting
What's
about
next?
here?
I got a great. I got a.
Lauren.
Thank you, Sean. I'm glad you're finally being useful in this conversation. I got a wonderful super chat from Weld John here, who wanted to say, Destiny, people don't grow wealth through housing because of education. It is because of necessity. Most people don't have extra income to invest in markets, but they have to live somewhere. So true, John.
No, that's not true. Okay,
So
whoever
true.
he is, he's dog shit with money management, and he's probably going to be poor his entire fucking life. Okay, that is not true. If you don't
Destiny
have
hates the
financial
working class.
wherewithal, no, if you don't have the financial wherewithal to invest a little bit of money every month, how the fuck do you think you're going to have enough money to save for repairing?
Because they have to pay rent anyways. It's best to put it into something that is going to be They're going
What
to
rent allows you to do is rent smooths out the payment curve over a long period of time, so you don't all of a sudden find cracks in your basement and have to pay $50,000 to put your house on stilts, or you don't have like a massive repair that comes up that you've got to take high interest loans out in order to pay for. You don't just rent isn't just random black holes that your money goes into. You're paying for.
That's why you get someone to do a housing inspection first. Check out, make sure the property's
How
good.
did I forget about the housing inspection? Tell all future problems in housing. Oh my
Of course,
God.
there's still going to be problems in a house.
I'm such an idiot.
True.
I forgot. I totally concede. I
the-
concede the whole argument.
True.
Well, one of the problems is that if you don't have the foresight to put $100 a week in your Roth IRA and invest it in index funds, which grow at a rate of around 8 to 14% a year, except for this year, then you're probably not the kind of person that's going to have the foresight to see problems early on in your house and fix them. So you could end up in a hole. But yeah, anybody could put like a couple $100 in an investment account for like, once a month or once a week or whatever. Like any little bit helps because that's how compound interest works. So yeah, you should do that too, for sure.
As well.
Damn, and then imagine, we're not even talking about the real pain, which is when you've lived in an area for 1 or 2 years and you might get another opportunity in some other place, and now you're tied into a goddamn horrible fucking house you took a 30-year mortgage out on that if you sell now is either at a big loss or you don't recoup like the closing costs. Oh my God, the fucking horrors.
Yeah, but you buy a house if you're going to stay somewhere for 5 years or longer.
Yeah,
so.
but how many 22-year-old people know that they're going to stay in a place for 5 years or longer, or even at 25 or 30, depending on the types of work you're doing?
Who's saying
right?
22-year-olds should buy a house? I don't know why you're so anti-home ownership.
Because
it's a bit
Who's living in
sus.
it?
I think I don't like home ownership for a few reasons. Well, firstly, I like home ownership, but I like it when it's treated like it is, which is a luxury. And people in this continent have turned it into a
luxury.
Necessity.
You will own nothing and be happy. It's a luxury. If you want to own a house in Destiny's New World Order, Great Reset, it's a luxury, guys. You should never own property.
I feel like I'm in a really large room covered with bitch panels, and every time I say something, it just gets echoed back at me more bitchier. That's what you're doing right now. Yes.
You're saying that you're absolutely saying bitchy things. You're trying to say them nice though.
Home ownership is a luxury.
Says the man who owns a house. Yeah.
Yeah, Lauren, do you think I'm having financial problems right now? Yeah, I own a house because I can afford it. It is a luxury. That is true.
Luxury.
Okay, so yes, thank you for agreeing with me. Okay,
the average person should be able to own the person with an average salary in Canada should be able to own a house. We have enough land. They
can. They absolutely can. But they can't all do it in Vancouver. They can't all do it in Toronto, and it will never be the case if that is the case.
You can't do it where you were born.
No,
fucking 4 hours, 5 hours outside of Vancouver, the housing is also getting absolutely blown up in pricing.
Now, Lauren,
places like Kelowna, Kamloops, they're fucking going over $1 million for an average house.
I just want you to explain this to me, okay? Because I want you to bring up on stream. Can you bring up paint?
Paint.
Can you do this? Or can you just hold this in your head for me, okay? Think about this in your mind, okay? Are you ready? I'm talking about the program on your computer, but don't worry about it.
Oh, Mike.
If one person, if one family is in a house, and then they have 2 kids, should those 2 kids have a right to live in that area for the rest of their lives?
Well, God willing, they'll be able to buy a home there,
what if those
and then hopefully move into a home that their family already owns when they pass away. All that.
Lauren. Okay. What if those 2 kids meet other people, and then each of them have 2 or 3 kids? Should all of those people have a right to stay there forever?
Well,
stop me if you see where I'm going, Lauren.
Unfortunately, the average Canadian right now, we're not. Our birth rates aren't high enough for replacement.
That's not what we're talking about. That's not the question. The question is, as all the families are making more and more children in an area, and they're expanding, do all of those people have a right to live there for the rest of into perpetuity, for the rest of all of existence?
Do they have a right to live there for the rest of eternity?
Their whole family. Have you ever seen a great-great-great-grandpa? You know that one person produces like 100 fucking offspring? Do all of these people have a right to live in these areas for the rest of their entire generations?
If there is available housing and they work hard enough and, are not like fucking living on the streets asking for welfare, they should be able to own a home.
So what's going to happen when all of these people live in, to my understanding, physics is still limited the amount of space available on the planet, and all of these people in this one area are having more and more kids, and those kids are having kids and families and stuff, at some point, aren't you going to run out of space for houses?
true, especially if you're accepting hundreds of thousands of immigrants every year to come into
Even
these
if you're not
areas, too.
accepting it, I like the pivot. You should play in the WNBA, okay? While it's still protected from trans athletes, okay?
True.
Lauren? Okay, your moves are very nice right now. But I'm asking you, there's going to be an increasing amount of people that are having families and more children. Do you think that those people should all have the right to infinitely live on the same fucking land? How are you going to do this without cramming 100 million people into
no,
one
they don't.
fucking
But you
house?
know who has even less of a right to do that? People who don't even live in the fucking country in the first place.
Well, that's not the person that lives in that house's decision to make.
Unfortunately,
Well, you can
It's a decision to make, right?
Well, you could
But,
buy
but
condo.
you can pivot. You can pivot away. Well, Lauren
Right.
doesn't want condos. She wants a white picket fence with a
I
beautiful
literally
single-family
said,
house.
take away that home that burnt down that sold for $3 million in Vancouver
Oh, you're
and build
giving
a
us
condo
one
there.
home.
I
Thank
literally
you.
said
Thank
that.
you, Queen. Thank you, Queen.
Right,
On your
that's
birthday,
right.
too.
Just
So
that
generous.
one,
Oh my
just that
God.
one home. That's what I said. True.
Thank you. So, all the
Everybody-
burned down homes. All the burned down homes.
Well,
Oh my
first of all,
God.
there's a ton of unused space in all the urban centers that,
Yes.
due to open space regulations and all of that, that you
Yes.
could build out more homes in.
Open
So,
space regulations
the idea-
for cancer.
Well,
Huh?
it depends on how much high density shit is around them. If you have a super high density city, I don't think that it's necessarily like Manhattan. I think is one of the highest density areas I think in all of North America, and they've got Central Park. I think that's okay. If you've got a fuck ton of housing around it, I think having some open spaces is like okay.
Well, if you're conserving like a national park or like a, I guess in your language, state park, that's fine. I think what Sean is talking about is just like, oh, this home must be like 10 square feet away from this home at least, or some shit.
Oh,
right?
that's cancer. Sure, 100%.
I think that's what you're talking about, right?
Sorry. my
Well,
bad.
yeah, and there is some places like in San Francisco. I think like 2/3 of the land is actually open space that they could theoretically build stuff in, but people keep voting to keep it open space. But also, I threw in a very important photo in $1 million house in New York City into our little Discord chat. And I think everybody has the right to have this bathroom.
Me too.
If you don't get it, look at it very carefully.
I don't get it. Am I supposed to?
Destiny, you're an elitist. That's why you don't get it.
True.
The toilet, it's in the
No,
shower.
that's Destiny's
That's
bathroom.
super
That's why he
normal.
doesn't
No,
get
no,
it.
this is like really normal in a lot of European apartments, or at least in
No,
Sweden.
look where the toilet paper holder
Yeah, I
is.
see the toilet paper holder's in a weird spot, but in a lot of these places, you will literally
Wait,
have
let me
the
bring it up on
bathroom,
screen
like
for
the
you guys.
toilet and the shower in the exact same fucking room, like they're right next to each other. Like my guess is, in this bathroom, maybe they don't have it installed, but you'd have a curtain installed around.
gotta
the
get
shower,
this on
and that would be
screen.
like a normal bathroom.
There is no curtain. $1 million house.
$1 million house. All right, it's gonna take me a million years to bring this up on screen, guys, because I'm.
Wait, this isn't normal? No, in the United States, having the combined like shower and toilet like on the same fucking floor is very fucking weird. But in Sweden, I noticed like Melina's apartment has it, or Dad's apartment has it. It's all like in
She
the
has a
same
toilet
fucking
in
room.
her shower?
Yes, it's like literally
So
like it's
peeing
just
in
a
the
curtain.
shower is acceptable in Sweden.
You can literally pee all over the floor if you want and shower the whole room down.
That
right
actually
afterwards
that
if you wanted
actually
to.
sounds sick. I'm not gonna.
It's weird to me because I'm an American.
it's
But
fucking weird, but it sounds sick. I'm down with
apparently,
it.
someone said in Korea and Japan they do this as well.
Look at this stupid bathroom.
You can also
guys.
you just got a free
Look at this
bidet too, right?
stupid looking bathroom. Unbelievable.
I fucking
Gonna
love
be-
this. It's awesome.
It's gonna be
10
really
out of 10
awkward
design.
It's gonna be really awkward when I buy this, do a podcast, and you guys are all guessing on
You're
it.
gonna be doing a podcast while you're
From
pissing
that.
and showering and shitting at the same time.
Based.
It sounds awesome. Get the toilet paper back there all soggy and shit. Great life.
Okay, it's my birthday and I'm late for my party talking to you dorks, so I need to go. Do you guys want to make
Oh,
any...
I thought this was your party. Okay.
It's true. This is actually my birthday party.
Mm.
You're my only friends.
Oh,
Laughs and
Great.
tears.
wait, can you tell me what state Pearl Harbor happened in?
What state? The
Yeah, Pearl
great
Harbor happened.
state of America.
No, what state it happened in?
Hawaii. I know
Dude,
you
I
make
had to
fun of
think
the way
twice
I
for a
say
second. Was I about to
Hawaii.
get mind fucked? Holy shit.
She's right.
Wait, did you look it up? Yeah, of course it's Hawaii. It's the
No,
Pacific
no,
Theater,
he's
right?
not. He's not asking me to say Hawaii because I don't know. He's saying because he doesn't like the way I pronounce it. Because everyone just makes
Oh.
fun of my pronunciation of everything.
I
Even
don't know
for a
anything
Canadian,
about
you say a
Pearl
lot
Harbor.
of shit really weird.
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
What?
Hawaii. Hawaii, goodbye. Oh wait, one more.
Sounds like
super
you're saying
chat.
Hawaii. Hawaii.
Julian, thank you for the happy birthday, Julian. And Malcolm says, happy birthday, Lauren. Destiny, homeowners have access to broader range of expenses on tax returns. Homes can be claimed as depreciating assets in the U.S. or principal residence exemptions from capital gains in Canada.
Excuse me, you can claim depreciation on a primary residence in the United States if you meet the threshold, which is over the doubled standard deduction that Trump raised to itemize your tax returns. You might be able to deduct the interest that you pay off of your taxable income, but I don't think you can claim depreciation on a primary residence. I'm pretty sure that's only on an investment property. So whoever just said that, fucking off yourself in a video game.
Yeah, most people don't.
I love you,
itemize their
Malcolm. You're
tax
fine.
deduction.
Steven's
Yeah,
just
hitting the
so annoying.
itemization on your tax is also going to be that's a super garbage deduction. It is welfare for rich people, but
Also,
you're going to need a pretty wealthy property to do that.
Also, the correct answer to my question was Hawaii was a territory, not a state at the time of
I
Pearl
knew it. I
Harbor.
knew it. I
So
knew
you're
it was a
all wrong.
trick question. I was like,
Is
he
that
either wants
true?
me to pronounce Hawaii wrong or this is some sort of trick question.
It was actually both.
When did Hawaii become a state? Oh my God, 1959.
Destiny Google Ninja and found out he was also wrong.
Holy shit.
Got him. Archeon says, Lauren, how bad is childbirth from ages 31 to 35? Is it too dangerous? That's not too dangerous. It's just you're going to have more complications.
You're fine.
Oh yeah, that was the guy who said that nobody could have kids after they're like 28, right? Something like that.
Ugh.
True.
We were having a chat with like a MGTOW guy earlier. He's not MGTOW. I don't know what he is, but he's in that sphere.
Stupid.
Yeah, we're talking to him earlier. It was actually a fun discussion, but I didn't agree with him
I'm
a
just
lot.
being an asshole for fun.
Yeah, you were.
I heard some of it.
I also heard some of it.
All right. Yeah, I'm wrapping up here, so
We done? Awesome.
I'm sorry. I'll have you on again, Layman. I'm usually no, I'm not. Actually, I lied. I'm usually streaming for like 2 hours, and then I piece it. I need to do more. You guys like live on stream. Layman, what do you even do? Do you just Twitter all day? Like, I just see you on Twitter. Do you do like?
What
Do you
a
have like a
base
channel?
I have a YouTube channel. I just upload on it for fun. I'm on Twitter so much because I work from home. I've been working remotely since the pandemic
okay.
started, and I just got on Twitter because I was fucking bored, and it's just like addictive. So,
Now
but I have a
it's ruining
channel
your life.
here. I'll link it to you. I post a lot of shit on there, so for fun. There it is.
Cool. Okay, so it's like.
Oh
Layman.
fuck! I need to update that bio. Holy shit! I haven't updated that in so long.
Where can people follow you on Twitter? Where can they go harass you?
At lay_man_ on Twitter.
Sweet. Sean,
It's right
everyone
there.
everyone knows Actual Justice Warrior, actual good content sometimes. And then Destiny. Everyone knows Destiny, unfortunately.
YouTube.com/Destiny. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Merch.destiny.gg. Store.destiny.gg. I mean, if you want to buy cute
Your merch
shirts,
is
okay.
actually pretty cute. Not gonna lie, it's actually. Pretty,
Yeah, it
pretty
is.
adorable.
Okay.
Destiny, can I ask? Okay, we did the policy questions for lawyer. Lauren. I want to ask you something.
Okay. Haha, love that. Bye. I don't know where he
God.
went.
You just
I think that was
ejected
intentional.
that dude.
Oh no.
See ya, loser. No, I have no idea what happened.
Fucking kidding me. Anyway,
Communist
Destiny,
China shut
before
his
we end
account
it-
down.
Mm-hmm. Wait, does Lauren have to leave? Don't
Okay,
stay on our account.
okay, Destiny. So, housing policy, pick one. Temporarily reduce immigration or rent control. Pick one.
Oof. Are we decreasing immigration across the board, or do I get to pick which immigrants to reduce immigration from?
Which immigrant? Across the board.
Well, because if you could reduce only high-skilled immigrants, then probably the immigration reduction would curb your growing demand in the most expensive areas, we might guess. If it's just across the board, I would have to look at the immigration policy because, like, I don't think poor immigrants are driving up cost of housing in like your most expensive cities. That would be my guess. Rent control, I don't know which one I pick. Rent control is such a dog shit policy. I'd probably go for the immigration curb one. Rent control has so many bad knock-on effects.
Same.
So does immigration.
I would
Yeah.
also pick the same. Awesome.
What a base take to end on. What
Shut
a
the
birthday
fuck
gift.
up,
What a
Lauren.
birthday
Shut
gift.
the fuck
Aw,
up.
you guys do care about me.
And I can't wait for the next time you talk about this on Twitter to not mention building housing at all and to just talk about immigrants.
No,
I
I've
can't
got
wait.
a flare gun with your name on it. I've got a flare gun
Lauren's
with your name
ice
on
cream cake is melting, guys. Like you gotta.
True. It's so true.
If you're ever
Get out of
curious,
the
like
green.
what policy Lauren will choose, it's like whatever one has like the least number of brown people involved will typically. So rent control really bad because there are probably a lot of poor brown people that benefit from it. Immigration control based because you keep more brown people from coming to the country. Don't worry, I got it all figured out. Okay.
Okay, bud. All right. Everyone in the chat, thanks for coming and hanging out on my birthday. Thank you guys for joining. And Sean, although you were late and had some bad takes, always love to have you here.
Thank you.
Everyone, go check him out. Go follow Actual Justice Warrior. Layman, don't follow Destiny. And I will see you guys. I'm probably not going to be streaming until next month because I'm supposed to be working on my manifesto. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
What?
The manifesto.
Manifesto for what?
Well, don't tell the FBI. It's my political manifesto. Does that explain anything?
Not streaming for 1 month, working on a manifesto. That's a pretty troubling set of, given your history. Is there something you need to tell us?
It's entirely a video manifesto. It's not a manifesto that has.
So you're live streaming it to what,
real-world-
Facebook too? That doesn't help either. But okay, listen, you do.
At least
you.
it takes the burden off me because I don't have to call the cops. She'll just put it out there for them to find on their own. So.
Sure. Probably already listening to this comment. I'm sure there's at least like 2 agents that are assigned.
Yeah, the FBI and I have already had a few chats over.
Some of them might be in this call right now. Who knows?
True.
They might be.
I mean, Sean has been the most quiet out of all of us.
Sean is my personal FBI handler.
He was disconnecting a lot in and out at the beginning. He might have been tapping into something. Who knows?
It's the old clicking on the phone thing for the internet.
They still in like questioning sessions with the feds. They still use like those giant like tape. They just throw it on the desk and they're like, say your name, say your birthday. It's like the movies. It's really fun. If you've ever been questioned by the feds.
That's for intimidation purposes only.
I swear. Yeah, for real.
They have like a little regular recording inside there.
Yeah, they, like just normal technology. But they bring in all the old stuff, start screaming at you, good cop, bad cop, asking you how you feel about running Muslims over with a truck. Weird questions.
Oh my God, that got too specific.
Yeah.
Don't you have to go? I want to hang
I'm
out.
sorry I didn't hear that. What?
Yeah, I gotta go kill some bears in the woods and have a party.
Christ.
Anyways, great chatting. Thanks for hanging out for my birthday, everyone. I will hopefully be back the first week of July for streaming. I might be streaming on another channel. Obviously, I'll keep you updated if that is the case. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Have a good night. What am I doing? I'm trying to end this
Night,
stream.
everyone.
I don't even know what I'm